Yo, what's good, man?
All good, man. How you been?
Yeah, all right. Still a little bit ill.
Good.
I'm just at like the back end of the illness.
Yeah,
Everyone's ill
yeah,
right now, man. Everyone's been getting COVID and shit, so I don't know if it's that or what, but yeah, I'm feeling all right
yeah,
though. How
yeah.
about you?
That's good then. Yeah, not too bad, man. I was like not ill. It was like a weird illness, you know, when like you get bunged up and you really
Mm.
feel it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't like that at all. It just felt like my nose was a little bit blocked for a few days, and then
Yeah.
it was like fine. Like I'm getting over. I'm still a bit snotty here and there, but it's not like terrible.
It's
It's been
quite
a
a
weird
mild
one.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. We're just superhuman, aren't we? We don't let it affect us.
yeah. Get that immune system of a super producer.
Yeah, man. It's all that Eddie Abu diet. 10 eggs in the morning.
Yep. Yep. I'm liking the eggs though, to be fair. How do you normally you still doing that? You still on the egg thing?
Yeah, it's the best breakfast, man. Scrambled eggs. I can
Yeah.
only eat them scrambled though. I can't eat like runny eggs or anything.
What about Kevin poached?
Nah.
Nah.
Nah, no chance.
Fair.
Is that
I
how you
didn't
have
bef-
them?
yeah, I didn't used to like them before. I'm like you, I was scrambled, nothing else. If I can't be bothered with like the mess, I just do them boiled because then it's just like no pots or anything. But yeah, put at the minute I'll get like a bagel, some avocado, poached eggs, and then like some sriracha, a little bit of sriracha
Mm.
sauce. That's normally quite a nice meal.
Yeah, avocado's the one as well. It's like
Mm.
it's usually every morning. Scrambled eggs,
Ah,
avocado, and sourdough. It's like that's
yeah,
perfect, man.
hits perfect. Yeah, it's good because
Mm.
it's like you know what you're getting like protein wise. Like you know you can kind of like add a decent chunk to your
Yeah.
daily like what you need, and then yeah, next two meals is just chuck some meat on the plate, and then you're good to go.
Yeah, definitely. Have you
Uh,
what are you doing like workout wise? Are you still focusing on like the gym, like strength training, or are you doing any fitness
um,
now?
I'm still trying to get in the gym, but I'm like less focused on that. I've been trying to play a lot more basketball. Like, there's an
Mm.
open session on Mondays, and then sometimes there's a game on Wednesdays, like the local league, and then Fridays is a session and Sunday. So I'm just trying to get in as much as I can, get my cardio back because
Yeah.
I miss being able to like run constantly. You know, like I used to be able to just run like not stop, but now like I'll do
Yeah.
like two runs of the court, and I'm like fucking like almost gassed. So yeah, just trying to get that back a little bit.
Yeah, it hits
Yeah.
you,
How
man.
about you?
Yeah, still focusing on gym, like strength and everything. But I'm still doing a run as well. I was doing a run like every week, but sometimes I miss a week, so it is like every 2 weeks. Um, and then the other day, when I got to the gym, I don't know what they were doing. They were like renovating one of the areas, so we couldn't use the gym, but they had the pool open, so I had my stuff with me. So I was like, "Fuck it, let's go for a swim." And then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just kind of enjoyed that. I was like, maybe that's a new like just something new to do each
yeah,
week.
yeah.
Just do
Swimming's
like I don't
underrated.
know, even 10 lengths or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's underrated. It's so fucking tiring though. I don't know how people do it.
Yeah,
You
did
got like
like
some
four
old
lengths
people
and
in
I was
there.
exhausted.
Yeah, yeah, literally. I've got some old people in there. They're literally. I went swimming with my girl like a few weeks ago, and it was the same thing. We did like 10 lengths, but there's some old people in there that just go like they didn't stop, and I was doing like the
Yeah.
length, having to stop for like a minute to get my breath back, and then go again, stop. Yeah, and they're just constant.
Yeah, they love it. Older people, don't they? Just like slow
Yeah,
breaststroke for like half an hour non-stop
yeah,
in the little
yeah, that's
speedos.
it. Yeah, yeah, running laps around us.
Yeah, but yeah, it could
Yeah,
be something new to try. Like you said, I just want to get my fitness. I don't feel like unfit, but yeah, I want to be able to. Just want to balance like my strength and my fitness as well. Just want to feel good
yeah,
overall instead of just focusing on one thing now.
yeah. I think it's more yeah. I feel like strength is good, but if you don't, I don't know. It's good to have, but if you don't feel like you can move about as good as you used to, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's not as satisfying. Like you can lift a good amount of weight, but you can barely like scratch your back and all that kind of stuff. So
That's it, man. Everything starts to click. Like your joints start hurting and shit. I've been
yeah,
doing it for years now. I don't know about you, but when you've been training for like years, you put so much pressure on your joints and everything. Like sometimes I'll stand up and my knees are clicking. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I'm
literally,
only
yeah.
I'm only 32.
I do like this yoga before bed and like a yoga thing in the morning. It's only like 10-15 minutes, but you just do like a bridge. You just do like a bridge where you lay on your back and then um just kick your put your ass up in the air and like thrust your hips up. You just hold it there for like 30
Sounded
seconds.
fruity this.
But yeah, but like after you release it, like I'll hold it there, and then when I put my hips back down to the ground, like both my knees just go like they're like both just clicking all the way down. I'm like fucking hell, need some fish oil tablets or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, we're doing a Q&A today.
Yeah, we got some questions actually. I put up something last night.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of questions. I just tried to ask people to ask more specific questions because we usually just get the same ones like, how can I be a producer, or how can I
Mhm.
make money? And like,
Yeah.
there's a million ways to do that. So we've
Yep.
covered a lot of it. But it looks like there's some good ones. I'll just start from the top and we'll go down.
Yeah.
Red Life
Sounds good.
Crisis. It's my cousin Liam. You've met him. What do you
Oh
guys
yeah.
eat during studio sessions? You could do with some pizza catering, in my opinion. He started up like an Instagram page because he's been making like pizzas from scratch. He's just found a
Oh yeah.
passion with it, so he wants to turn it into a business at some point. But you
Nice.
know what? During studio sessions, like people have laughed at me before because I'll rock up with like some water, a couple
Yeah.
bananas or something, and then everyone's eating like takeaways and burgers and shit,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
laughing at me for bringing that. But what do you normally eat in a studio session?
Not a lot really. I feel like when we're in there, we don't really eat. Like we're normally, I'll go maybe
Yeah.
bring like say a bottle of water, maybe like some coconut water or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, literally a couple of bananas, maybe like a protein bar, but like nothing heavy really. We'll normally like do the session, maybe take a break and leave the studio, maybe go and get some like lunch, like get a sandwich or
Yeah.
if there's any food places around, like a cheeky burrito or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. How about you?
Similar, to be honest. It depends how long the session is. If I know we're there
Yeah.
like all day, like yeah, usually we'll take a lunch break, won't we, and just head out and grab something. We usually
Mhm.
end up trying to find something that's not like too heavy. Like I feel like if you eat something like I don't know, just super greasy, like proper like takeaway burger style, you're just in a slump after, and you just don't really feel good. So I feel like we always
Yeah.
try and find some sort of chicken and rice meal, don't we? Like Greek
Yeah.
food, Lebanese, something like that's always perfect. Like
Yeah.
Turkish, even a little Nando's. You can never go wrong with
Yeah.
Nando's. But
Yeah.
like in the studio, yeah, it just depends what's available and where the studio is, because it depends
Yeah.
what's on Uber Eats and what's around. But
Exactly. And I
I'm
feel like with
always mindful
studios,
of like what I'm.
they can be kind of depends what studio. Obviously, pirate, no one's really watching, but
Yeah.
some studios they kind of be iffy about what you bring in there. So bottle of water, some like easy snacks that don't make a lot of mess. It's just best. It's just
Hmm.
better. It's more respectful for towards a studio owner if you don't come in with like a shitload of messy food and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so that was from Liam. Next one from Please. It's like PRA1ZEE. Not
mhm.
sure how you pronounce it, but he said, "How do I get high-paying customers as a producer, like versus cheap clients?" We kind of spoke
Mhm.
about this a few weeks back, didn't we?
Yeah.
But really, I think it is all down to how you brand yourself and how you set your prices as well. Like you're in control of your prices. So if you don't want to sell cheap beats, if you don't want to be the guy selling 10 beats for $10, then just don't be that guy.
Don't do
Don't
it.
put those offers out there.
Yeah.
If you just want to work directly with artists and maybe sell exclusive beats for a higher price, then I feel like it's a mix of how you brand yourself and how you it's how you value yourself and like how you've got to that point as well, because you can set crazy high prices, but if you don't have the portfolio to back it up, then
Mhm.
people will look at it and be like, it's not really making sense. So you have to be realistic. Like if you've just started producing and you're like, I want 10 grand a beat, when there's so many producers out there with high quality beats, it's going to be really hard to get those prices. But if your beats are amazing, then maybe you can like step in that direction and start branding yourself a bit differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think there's like just ways of working as well. I think we spoke about it to me a few times,
Hmm.
about just how you position yourself and like what you put out there to offer. And I think at the minute it's kind of the only thing that we really get taught on YouTube if you search, you know, like how to make money as a producer, especially as a hip hop producer, like trap, drill.
Yeah.
It's just type beats. That's the only sort of like way we think or like kind of know how to do it. But there's
Hmm.
like a whole different way to do it, and I've been learning it recently. I don't want to like I can't give like too many details because I don't want to be giving information that I'm not 100% on yet because I'm still kind of new in the process. But
Yeah.
it's more about investing more time into a producer. So like a tangible bit of advice would be if you've got a website, make like a type form and ask some questions about an artist, you know, make the page something like work with me or like book me for productions instead of like buy beats, lease beats. Send them to a
Hmm.
type form, um, have them fill out some questions and basically just asking like, you know, whereabouts they're based, what kind of music they make, what's the idea for the next project, what's the budget for the next project, and you set all those parameters yourself. So you put the price at like, you know, you put a multiple choice price of what the budget is for their next project, and you say like what your minimum is. You know, you put 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 2,000, 2 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 plus. You know,
Yeah.
and then that way you're all automatically filtering out people that don't want to spend more than a couple hundred on just a beat. But
Hmm.
also it's then down to you to make it worth their while. So once they've filled that out, then you can you'll get the details through, send them a quick email, and you just kind of set up a call, and then you just get to talk to them, get to know them, kind of figure out what their issues are and what they're struggling with, what their big vision is. Just figuring out like actually what they want as a producer, and not just okay, here's a quick beat lease, because they might not just need a beat, they might need some post production, they might need mixing and mastering, they might need help with songwriting, they might need help with
Yeah.
branding and how to market their stuff. So once you can figure all that stuff out, then you can pitch them something that you can charge more for, and they'll in their head they can connect the dots and be like, okay, this is actually worth spending, you know, 800 to 1,200 on to work on, you know, the next project or like small EP. So if you put yourself in that kind of lane, then it's way more appealing to an artist to work with you, because then you're like one to one, kind of helping them throughout the entire process, as opposed to here's a beat, figure out the mixing, mastering, you promote the, you know, like you're not actually helping them, you're just giving them a beat, like a transactional thing. So yeah, just like lean more towards being a solution instead of just, you know, like a quick service or like commodity.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. A commodity it is down to making it a whole experience rather than just selling a commodity. So you
Yeah.
can think about it like even just something on a smaller level, like getting a haircut. If you walked around the town center, you might be able to find like some cheap place that costs like £5, and you just in and out within like 15 minutes, and they're just giving you like the quickest cut ever, no experience. You don't really
Yeah.
want to talk to them. You're just there for the trim, and that's it. But then you
Yeah.
go into like almost like a hairdresser's or just like a nicer barber shop, and then you'll go in, they'll offer you a drink, might give you a beer or a coffee, they'll
Hmm.
cut your hair, they'll chat, they'll like wash your hair even, and you get this like whole experience that lasts almost an hour. And
Hmm.
then they charge the premium prices, and that's on a smaller level. It's going from like a £5 haircut to like a £30 haircut. But then it's same with beats, isn't it? Like, yeah, you can just whack your beats on a beat store, sell cheap leases, or you can make it a whole experience, like you were saying. You know, maybe they need mixing services, maybe they need advice on marketing, maybe they just want a connection with a producer who's just going to help them
Hmm.
along the way. And then you're offering like a whole experience then versus just a quick thing. And then you can justify the high prices then.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You can break it down. Like if you really sit down and work out your economics, you can sit down and be like, right, okay, I need to earn this amount to pay to cover my bills, and then I need X amount, you know, to live off of for the rest of the month. Once you figured
Hmm.
that out, then you can be like, okay, well, if I can get like 3 or 4 artists to come on board per month, then you can just, you know, work backwards. It's just math at that point. It's not like you're trying to guess and figure out what your price is. You know, if you live in a home, you've not got much overheads, then, you know, you can charge, you know, whatever, you know, got no bills or anything, maybe your phone bill or Netflix or something, then you only need to charge something like 500 to 800 for a project. That way you're walking away with a good amount of profit, just money you can put away somewhere. But then obviously
Hmm.
if you live in, you've got bills to pay, you have to up the price, make it suit your economics, and then also make it make sense to the artist as well. You say like, okay, right, well, we're going to do some pre-production where we can really plan out the next song or the project, figure out the genre, the tempo, the instruments we're going to use, do some songwriting together. Then we'll jump into some production. We'll actually get into the meat and potatoes, and we'll do the mix and mastering. Then once we finish that, we'll jump on another call, and then we can do the branding side of it, figure out a content schedule, and research some artists that you want to be like or like aspire to be like, back engineer it, and you really just put a whole like A to Z plan together for them, and then you can be like, okay, well, yeah, it's going to be a 2 month time investment for me, maybe 2 to 3 months, maybe just 1 month, depending on the project. It's going to be a grand, $800, $1,200,
Yeah.
$2K, whatever you want. But
And that's the thing,
yeah,
is investing time as well. Like throwing your
yeah,
beats on BeatStars only takes a few minutes. Obviously, you have to do a lot of work to promote that as well. But finding the high paying customers is going to take a lot of time as well. You're going to have to do the work to go through Spotify and go through YouTube and try and find a lot of artists and connect with them and have conversations and find out what their budgets are,
hmm
versus just uploading beats and then hoping that high paying customers will find them. It's just going
yeah,
to take a lot of time.
exactly, yeah. And the good thing about having high paying customers is that you don't need that many of them. Only need a few.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Jay said, it's a bit more work on the back end, or upfront, sorry, a bit more of a time investment, and you're not going to win everyone. Um, but it's going to be, yeah, you only need three or four. And the good thing with the high paying clients is that if you deliver well on what you've promised with what offer you're actually putting on the table, then over time you're going to have repeat customers. So it's going to be way less pressure for you to sell a bunch of leases or bring in new clients. You've just got a constant sort of stream of returning customers, and then obviously if some people start to leave and drop off, you can always go out, find new artists to work with, and just kind
Yeah.
of keep it going. Instead of having to sell 1,000 leases a year, you only need to have 10 to 20 regular clients, and you're good to go.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly that.
that's an in-depth answer right there.
That's what we needed.
Yeah.
So next one is from Pia_KNR. Said, do you have a workflow plan at the beginning to grow and stay focused? I don't know if he means like the beginning of your producer journey or the beginning of your day. I'm guessing he means just like at the beginning of your producer journey. Like, how do you,
Mm.
what's your plan to like grow and stay focused?
Yeah. In the beginning, it's kind of tricky in the beginning. I mean, I feel like yours was you kind of knew that what lane you wanted to go into. Like you knew that like that was an area that wasn't like explored too much, and you kind of had that in your head already.
A little bit. I
Yeah,
mean, it depends like how far back we're talking. Because when I first started
yeah,
producing, I wasn't even thinking about YouTube or anything. I think that might be the main thing. Like, if you're just starting as a producer, your focus should just be getting good as a producer, really.
yeah,
Instead of worrying about marketing and selling beats and everything, just actually put the time into to get good at your craft, and that only comes with practice. So, literally, just by making beats, you can watch tutorials, you can learn a bit of music theory, but ultimately, it comes down to how much time you put into actually making beats. Don't be afraid to use loops as well. Like, a lot of people prefer to start off with drums, but I feel like it's really helpful to understand melodies as well. So just keep making beats. Do a mix of making your own melodies versus using loops and samples. But to stay focused, maybe it's just having like small goals. Like, because everyone has these big goals. Like, I want to go platinum. I want a Grammy. I want all of this, but you need those small incremental steps to get to those big achievements, don't you? So
yeah,
maybe just set yourself some small goals. Maybe it's just like, okay, this month I'm a new producer. This month I'm gonna make 10 beats. Just see how you get on. If you get those 10 beats, increase the target the next month, and just have these small steps. If it's like social media, you could have like targets to hit for the amount of uploads you make. it's kind of hard to like set targets for followers because you don't really know like how that's going to go, but it might be worth to have, because then if your followers aren't growing, then it might mean you need to switch up your content, or you might need to upload more. So just set yourself some small goals. Maybe it's just like uploads, how many beats you've made, followers, things like that. And then that should help you stay focused, I guess, because if you're like going through the month and you're not anywhere near your target, you might be like, man, I need to get my ass into gear. I need to start making some more beats, do some more uploads. So yeah, setting yourself some small goals and limiting distractions as well, man. That's like been one of my main things recently. I get so distracted by everything, notifications, like emails, just everything. So one thing I've been doing is when I'm locking in, I'll set my do not disturb on, so then no notifications pop up, because you could be in the middle of a beat and as soon as one notification comes through, before you know it, you're opening Instagram, you're scrolling, and then you've wasted like 20 minutes just doing bullshit. So turn your notifications off. Tantu, if you remember Tantu, when we linked up with him in Germany. Yeah, I haven't used this in a while, but it is actually pretty good. So you could just set yourself a timer and be like, right, I'm going to lock in for 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it is. Set the timer, no distractions, no nothing. Phone's going down, like airplane mode on, whatever you need to do. And then just focus for those like 30 to 60 minutes. And it's crazy how much you can actually do in that time when you're limiting your distractions. It's quite a powerful tool.
Yeah. It's not like the amount of hours you work in a day. It's like what you do in that time. It's you know, you hear people say, "Oh yeah, I've been grinding at this for like 13 hours today." So okay, well, what have you actually achieved in those 13 hours? You know? Someone in 2 hours might be able to do what you've done in the entire day, because you've been every 2 minutes just like, I don't know, on your phone or watching YouTube videos and stuff like that. We're all guilty for doing it. Tasks. It's just you just got to, you know, it's a constant battle. You just got to kind of fight those demons off and just try and focus in. Yeah.
And if you really enjoy it, like if it's something that you really want to get into and you're passionate about it, then it shouldn't feel like work as well. Obviously, some stuff, like when it gets to this stage, like for us, some things do feel like work, and it might not be as exciting as some parts in the beginning. But if it's just making music and it's what you love doing at the beginning, then that should be like focus enough. It's like you want to do it, so you're going to do it. You just have to be honest with yourself, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe one more thing is just like, really like figuring out what your priorities are. I think it comes like maybe with a bit of time, or just like it takes just having that light bulb moment to think like, okay, it's definitely a career path for me in music or whatever you want to do. Yeah, like my friend, I can still game with my boys. I can still go out and socialize and stuff, but like this is the time I need to commit to this. And, you know, to make this happen, and then really like internalize it and really just make it just part of who you are. Because without doing that, and you kind of just treat it as like a side quest, and you're not really like fully in it, you're never gonna like, I don't know, you're never really gonna reap the benefits unless you get really lucky.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so next one we have is from Charlie Stowe. What is your go-to techniques you use to make your melody more interesting?
I'd just say like get your fundamentals in, like get the feeling down with the chords and stuff like that. Basic stuff like, top melodies and whatnot. But then I think once you've done with that, then you can always spice it up by, one thing that I've started doing with my main melodies is basically having like call and response. So if I'm doing like a guitar and flute melody, I'll maybe do like main guitar runs throughout the whole 8 bar, and then I'll have like a flute that comes in on the first bar, and then it dips out, and then a different one comes in, similar kind of sound but different, and then have that kind of finish off the melody, and just by adding like a bunch of different sounds, simple patterns for every single one, but just having one of them come in, one of them dip out, bring the next one in, and just structuring it in a way where like you've just got lots of different sounds bouncing off of each other instead of all playing at the same time. That's a really good way to do it, because it still sounds simple, but it's not simple. You've still got interesting sounds and textures in there. And then like another easy way to do it is just add like random phrases throughout, like bring them in, just ease them in with like volume, like automate the volume for them to just to ease in
Hmm.
and just take them out. Literally just the simplest phrase, and then just have them just come in and out, for
I
like a
think
16
phrases
bar.
are slept on, man. I
Mm,
used to
yeah,
listen to a lot of beats, and I think, "Man, how's he got the flute to sound like that?" And I always thought that you had to make everything from scratch. Like I was like, I need
yeah,
to recreate a flute that sounds just so amazing like that. But then when you see these people breaking down their loops, like they'll use phrases. So like you said, with a flute phrase, for example, like if someone's played it live, you're just never gonna really capture that same type of organic vibe, are you? So
yeah,
don't be afraid to use like a few phrases in there as well. You can like start the melody, bring in a flute phrase, maybe chop some parts out of that, maybe get in another flute phrase and do what you were saying, do a bit of call and response where you have the first one play, then it cuts out, then the second one comes in.
yeah,
Um, and then I think processing is like a big one as well. Like it's very rare these days that I'll just leave it as MIDI. I always like to export and then pitch things up, reverse things, stretch things, just manipulating the actual audio instead of the MIDI, just because it
yeah,
creates so much texture. One thing I do in a lot of my loops, in like most of them these days, so like once I've got my main melody down, or like my chord progression or whatever it is, I'll render like a few things out together, pitch it up an octave, turn the volume down, maybe throw on some like Portal and really filter it out, just to get some sort of like weird high end texture
yeah,
that kind of covers the high frequencies, but you haven't had to think of a whole new melody. It's just like another layer that just
yeah,
works. It's just like a go-to trick that just seems to work every time.
yeah. Yeah, that's it. Because the basis is there, everything's in key scale. It's just
Yeah,
you just warped it like crazy, made it like super high pitched, and yeah, it still works in context with the beat. It's kind of like yeah, it's a good one. It's a good go-to one. And
yeah,
then one
sure.
thing actually that someone mentioned in a beat critique yesterday, um, I was listening to a beat and then someone was like, it needs it's like string fills. So you have like drum
Mm,
fills at the end of like an 8 bar or a 16 bar.
yeah,
You can do that melodically as well. So like at the end of a 16 bar, you could not have the sound play throughout the entire 16 bar, and then right at that end, obviously you want to pick a sound that fits the vibe of the initial melody, but right at the end of that 16 bar, you just have like a string, a flute, it doesn't matter what it is, lead, synth, and it just maybe plays for like one like half bar at the end of a 16 bar, or like just
almost
one
like
bar
a
at the end.
run right at the end.
Yeah, yeah, just trickles down from high to low, trickles up,
Yeah,
or just something because it acts as like a transition, or it acts as a drum
mm,
fill. You don't always it doesn't always have to be a drum fill. It doesn't always have to be a riser sound effect. It can
yeah,
just be a melodic element as well. It's quite a good little trick too.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
a gem. That's something I don't do enough really. And you hear that a lot
yeah,
in like
same.
early 2000s beats.
Yeah,
Like the Scott Storch type of ones, some 50 Cent
yeah,
beats. You'll always hear those strings playing right at the end, and you hear them in like West Coast beats as well. So
yeah,
yeah, that's something you could definitely try. I'm gonna do
yeah.
that myself actually next
I know.
time.
Yeah, just thinking of it now. Oh, actually, one last thing as well. I think a lot of producers use like way too much reverb. Like less
Mm,
reverb is sometimes better, especially for early like 2000s beats. Like um, there's a few producers who I've like spoke to, and they only use reverb when they know they have to. They don't use it as like a muscle memory thing with every sound. It's
yeah,
like, yeah, don't be afraid to leave sounds dry. Like if it's like a plucky sound that you need to have, that you want to have, that if you want to add bounce to it, leave reverb off. Keep that space there. Leave the space for the
hmm,
drums, and yeah, just adding loads of reverb to every sound just muddies up can muddy up the whole mix. Yeah,
yeah. Especially with like a lot of plugins already have reverb on them. So
yeah,
I don't know if you do this, but if I'm adding reverb, I tend to turn the reverb in the plugin off and then add
yeah,
my own, because otherwise you're adding like reverb on top of reverb, and then sometimes it could sound right, but sometimes it just gets a bit too muddy, or sometimes the reverb in the VST is fine and you don't need to
it's
add another
fine.
one. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm definitely guilty of like just pulling up a reverb just because it's like muscle memory. I'm like, right,
yeah,
I've added a sound, let's throw on some reverb.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess like some sounds can be dry and it's fine.
yeah.
Okay, so next one, let me just see if there's a good one. What would you work if you weren't a producer?
Whoa, I don't even know,
That's
man.
a tough one.
Yeah. Do you know what? I do know what I'd hopefully do. Um, I'd go back and do Duke of Edinburgh stuff that I was doing in Cyprus. If I
Would
could
you?
take, yeah, that was so fun, man. Like The school visits weren't amazing. They were okay. Like it was good to see, and help out the kids with the stuff. But when you're out on the
Yeah,
hikes, it was so satisfying. Like just seeing them figure stuff out, and like and just the whole day. Well, a couple of days you're out there in the mountains. You're driving around in the wilderness. No phone, no proper distractions. Camp out, get some good food. Drive to the near village, have some good food in the evening.
yeah,
Next day, you'd obviously make sure the kids are on track with their trek. It was really satisfying. It was really nice, like vibe, and I was like, I'd do this for free.
mm,
It's just a fun activity to do. Um,
yeah.
yeah. What would you do?
Nice man. I don't know really, because this is like the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
Yeah,
Depends if you mean like outside of music, because the cop out answer would be like, oh, I'd be a rapper or I'd be an engineer,
yeah,
because you could be an engineer as well.
yeah.
Um, but if it's nothing to do with music, then maybe I'd like to think I'll still run my own business doing something. Maybe it would be to do with marketing, because I do find like marketing quite interesting as well. Or maybe I'd just be looking to go to a hot country and just work a real steady job, like serving
Yeah,
cocktails on a beach or something like that.
yeah, yeah,
um, so
yeah,
yeah, maybe something like that. Haven't really thought about it.
yeah. One of my boys, Bond, who did that song with last year,
Oh
he's
yeah,
just moved. He just moved to Cyprus fully, and he's just working remotely. So still got a UK job, but
sick.
just living over there. I was like, it's tempting, tempting.
Yeah. Was
Mm.
he out there when you were out there as well? Because didn't you link up with him there?
His mum lives out there, so he
Oh,
visits
okay.
Cyprus like 2 or 3, 4 times a year. So he's out there quite a lot, and I was obviously living out there at the time, so we just
What was
linked
he
up.
doing in London?
Um, it's a good question actually. I think he was working in Harrods,
Oh, okay.
like one of the retail shops in Harrods, and then yeah, I'm assuming he's found like another job where he can work, remotely.
Yeah,
So yeah,
got ya. Yeah, I don't think I'd wanna. I wouldn't step back into the corporate world. I had a corporate job for like 5 years, and that was enough to make me realize I don't want anything like that.
yeah,
So yeah, I wouldn't want to like go into the rat race again and try and climb a corporate ladder. Definitely wouldn't be that anyway. I think it would just be something a lot more steady.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't
exactly.
know.
That's just something that I guess you can financially keep yourself together, and but also have hobbies outside of like nothing too stressful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, all right, next one. How do you keep making melodies sound different? We kind of covered that in the last one.
hmm
Um,
I've got a couple on here as well. If you run out of stuff.
okay. I'll run through them. We'll see if there's a good one. How can I pirate contact libraries? When aliens come into the Earth, we're trying to wonder that same thing. Might be soon.
Yeah.
Um, how to reach out to people to get your beats, or how we could roll out our music in industry. Maybe if we like simplify that to the best way to approach artists on Instagram, like
hmm
let's say people are like, okay, I'm ready to start like DMing artists, like what's the best way to actually approach them?
Yeah. Um, I'd just say voice DM. Send a voice DM
Yeah.
instead of a normal message to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then this you should just include be respectful, and then make kind of like some kind of statement, like a reason as to why you're reaching out, and then also just kind of be genuine. So yeah, send a voice DM like, yo, what's going on, man? Just stumbled onto your page and I heard this song sounds amazing, and try and talk like music lingo as well. Don't try and come across as a fan. Be more of like a
Yeah.
professional and be like, yeah, I heard this song, it sounds amazing, man. Like the mixing on those vocals was like super clean. Yeah, I just wanted I hope it's not annoying. I know you probably get a lot of DMs, but do you mind if like it's like not you don't even need to ask for anything at this point, but just be like, um yeah, I hope you don't mind me reaching out, but I just thought I'd just reach out and just say, what's up. Leave it at that. Don't
Mm-hmm.
go in with an agenda to be like selling beats or anything like that. Just keep it light. No, if, on a
Yeah.
first date you wouldn't be like, you want me up and go, nice to meet you. Do you want to come home with me and go to bed? You gotta kind of just be, you know, human about it. So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'd say.
No, I agree, man. I think the best ones are the slow burners. You do have to
Yeah,
treat them like a relationship, really. Like, be authentic at first, and then gradually over time, you can start asking for things, maybe to email for beats. Um, but I've tested a few ways, to be honest, because sometimes I've also found that, like, if you're reaching out to someone who is on like somewhat of a high level in terms of music, it can be tricky to get a reply because obviously they're getting so many DMs. So then you want to make that first email impactful. So I've tested it myself, and sometimes I'll do that, and I'll message people and just be authentic. Like, maybe I've come across a song on YouTube and I really liked it, so I'll send them a voice note. I'll just be like, "Yo, what's good, bro? Just came across whatever the song is. Really feeling it. Just wanted to send some love your way." Um, but yeah, you could mention that you're a producer, but just wanted to connect. Just something like that. Just kind of keeping it like slightly open and showing some love as well. Just keeping it genuine. But then I've also had situations where I've done that and they've replied and been like, "Yo, appreciate that, bro. It means a lot, blah, blah, blah."
yep,
And then you reply to that. And then because they're so busy again and because their inbox gets flooded again, then they miss your response and it's hard to like keep up a relationship with them. So I've
yeah,
also tried situations where I've just done it in like one message where I've still been genuine and I've been like, "Yo, what's good? I just came across your song on YouTube, really feeling it. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a producer. I'd love to send like a pack of your beats, a pack of beats your way. Let me know if that's cool. And if you've got an email I could send them to." And then actually had like quite a good response to those. Sometimes people will just reply with an email, and then at least you've got an
yep,
email then where you can send beats out to. Because I'm sure you've had the same thing where, your inbox can get flooded sometimes, and you've already got a lot of relationships to manage. You've got people messaging you on WhatsApp, calling you, messaging on Discord, messaging on like every other platform. So it's so hard to develop new relationships with people
yeah,
unless you're meeting them in person. So
yeah,
sometimes I feel like it is better to just get it out in the first message, just in case because they might not even see it. But you have
hmm
to be very careful about what you say. If you just message saying, "Bro, what's your email? Can I send beats?" and just asking for something straight away, it's like you're asking someone for a favor and they know that you're just trying to leverage their platform and
yeah,
their career as an artist so that you can get a placement or whatever. So make it really genuine with your first message if you're going to do that. And maybe be mindful about what you can offer them as well. Like, maybe it could work for us because we've built up an audience, and then they might look at our profile and be like, "All right, yeah, I can see this guy works in music, he's serious about his shit, so yeah, let's work." But if you're a new producer and you've got nothing to offer, and then apart from beats obviously, but then you're messaging someone who has spent the past 10 years building up their career, it's going to be really hard for them to look at you and be like, "Oh yeah, there's equal exchange here, so let me just help this guy out." No one's there
hmm
to hold your hand or help you out. So maybe in those situations, then you need to either look at artists on a smaller caliber, like maybe artists who, I don't know, I kind of see it as like working horizontally or
mm,
collaborating horizontally instead of always trying to collaborate vertically, in terms of looking for someone who's above you so that you can gain something from them. Whereas if you
yeah,
work with people on a similar level, people are going to be way more open to collaborating. And then through those collaborations, you're going to sort of like build up the caliber of artists that you're working with, because you'll work with a few people and you've got a bigger portfolio. Then maybe you can step it up and work with someone on a little bit of a higher level, and then incremental steps once again lead into the bigger ones.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like a
exactly.
long answer, but that's
Yeah.
just from what I found anyway.
But yeah, yeah, you have to give that kind of context to it because a lot of people just think it is as simple as just sending a DM and they'll do it, spend a week doing it, and they get no replies because they're not reaching out in the right way, and
Yeah.
then kind of lose that fire to do it. But yeah, I think you're right. You just got to kind of just think about who you're reaching out to. Really, like you say, if it's
hmm
someone bigger, they're probably not gonna keep seeing DMs like from you, so because they're getting a lot, so put it all in
Yeah.
one DM, but still be respectful. If it's someone a bit smaller, then you can, just keep it casual for a bit. A good way, a lot of people don't want to do this, but the best way to do it is if you do start off smaller, reach out to people, get them off of Instagram or get them on be like, "Are you on Discord? Let's jump on my live channel, we'll just
Mm.
cook up." Just
Yeah.
keep it very like just be try and get in front, try and be live speaking in front of them because people are a lot more open to chat when it's not a message because a message can get taken in 50 different ways depending on what mood they're in. So yeah, get them off of Instagram, get them onto Discord, get in a live chat to them, get on Zoom, just get on something where you can actually talk to them.
Yeah. And just don't be
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah,
That's the
to
main
be
thing.
annoying.
As soon as you annoy someone, they are not going to want to work with you. And you can be annoying in a number of ways. You can send too many DMs, you can be spammy, you can not be authentic, you can be beggy, you can be a fanboy. Like, all of these things can annoy someone without you even realizing it. So just be human. Think about it
Hmm.
the way you'd approach someone in public. Like, you won't go up to someone in public like, bro, I'm a producer, let me send you beats. You'd be like, oh, what's good, man? Like, I know I've heard your music, I'm feeling it. And then you just start a casual conversation, wouldn't you? So
Yeah. And even if
I
you
think
like
it's
get objective,
impatience that gets people, isn't it? They want something like straight away, so they
yeah,
forget about those human interactions.
exactly, yeah. And like I say, even if you're trying to send beats, just be like, you could even just call it out. You can just be like, look, I know like you probably get 50 producers in your DMs a day like asking to send beats, but I genuinely like I've listened to your stuff. I literally make the exact same stuff that you're on right now. I know it could
Yeah.
definitely work. Let me send you some beats and just do it that way. Because if you know for certain
Mm.
that artist is like perfect for your style, then that's a massive advantage. Because yeah, you can just be like, look, I know I know everyone's reaching out. This is why I'm reaching out. I know I can definitely be more of a fit than these guys. Pitch it that way.
Yeah, definitely. It's a gem as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Right, okay, so next up we got. Feel free to ask any from yours as well if your guys have been asking you stuff.
Yeah, I only
Um,
got a couple, but one of them was quite good. He said it's actually a good one for us specifically. But he said, "Are you satisfied with the current state of production content?"
Production content. I mean, I feel like there's enough content out there to be satisfied with some of it. I've always said that the type of content I don't like is the negative stuff. So I never really watch reaction videos where they're like, I don't know, just sort of bitching about people or trying to find the negatives in things. Like, I get it, but when some people are just so invested in drama and they're
Yeah,
just trying to paint a negative picture all the time, I'm not really into that. I feel like that
yeah,
just adds fuel to an unnecessary fire, because
yeah,
there's a
for
lot of
sure.
producers out there who are maybe doubting themselves and they're maybe scared to release music or scared to actually go for it. And then when you start watching videos of people criticizing other people and being like, oh, he only got there because of this and he only did that because of this, then everyone gets in this negative mindset where they're like, oh, well, yeah, he only made it because of that, so I could never make it because I didn't have that experience. You know what I mean? They'll find ways
Yeah,
to justify why they're not doing the work. So I try to stay away from like negative producer content. Um, so that would be one thing. I feel like there's so many tutorials out there. So yeah, I feel like there's more than enough videos for you to watch to learn how to make solid beats.
hmm,
So you can be satisfied in that way. Maybe I'd like to see, and this is always hard because I do it myself. Like, so when we make videos, we really need to, like, we're fighting the algorithm basically. Like, we can't just upload videos and be like, we're just cooking up and we'll make whatever we want to make. Like, the videos that tend to do well are maybe something that's trending in that moment. Like, for me, Central C drops a song, so I make an Essential C tutorial. I might not always want to make Essential C beat that day, but I know it's what people are asking for and I'm trying to serve the community.
hmm,
Whereas I'm sure a lot of people making videos would rather just make some experimental stuff, but it's really hard to kind of serve the algorithm when you're just making random stuff, because it's not what people are searching for. Like, as soon as a hit song comes out, everyone's searching on like how to make those type of beats. So yeah, it's like we're fighting the algorithm. We're helping people, but we're not always in that mind state to make those type of beats, are we? So maybe
yeah,
that's one thing. What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah. I agree. To be fair, I think it's like there's good stuff out there. There's shit stuff. I do think at the minute, in my own skin, like at the minute, I'm getting to a point where like I'm not like super comfortable with certain content that I'm personally putting out. I don't know. It's not like a guilty
Yeah.
conscience. It's like before maybe like 2000, early 2020, like 2020 through 22, 23, we were kind of out in the field a lot more, and I think it inspired a lot of the
Yeah.
content, and it made it kind of confirmed like the content was legit. Whereas for some reason, like because I've
Hmm.
not been out doing a lot of sessions, not like super like really been in the field, I feel like it's hard to give advice on stuff that like I'm not really doing at this time. So and I feel like that is kind of
Yeah.
like common across the board with a lot of like YouTube content creation. Information's still decent, it's still valid, it's still good information. Um, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know, like it's been like a weird shift. Maybe it's just my own perspective.
No, I
But I think
agree. I've definitely felt a change over the past like year or two.
yeah, it definitely feels like the people with the most credibility, and it should be this way anyway. People with the most credibility are the ones where that are truly gonna like shine in terms of like YouTube producer content creation, because no one there's not as enough space now
Yeah.
for someone to sit at home, not be in any sessions, not be or not even or just not be working with artists and
Hmm.
actively be in the music industry, whether that be trying to get placements or just working one to one with independent artists. Doesn't matter what the entry level is, but I don't think there's any room for someone to just make beats and just make music producer content for YouTube. I think you have to have the
Yeah.
experience now and say like and be able to back it up. Um, I say yeah. I think the production space is good. Um, but I think it's getting. I don't know. I think it could be. It's getting to that point where it's like just so much information out there, and it's everything's conflicted. So
Yeah.
it's hard. I think it's hard for a
No, that's
beginner
definitely
producer.
true.
Yeah, I think it's hard for a beginner producer to
Yeah.
navigate the business side, I'd say. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because all that
Hmm.
information can be overwhelming. And yeah,
Yeah.
maybe like years ago when there weren't many people doing tutorials, it didn't really matter what their like how much credibility they had or what placements they had or anything. It was just they were the guys kind of teaching you like how to use the software,
Yeah.
and no one else was
Yeah.
showing it. Because a lot of producers back in the day were very, very like they didn't really want to show anything. They were gatekeeping their own
Yeah.
stuff basically.
Yeah.
And now people are way more open to like showing everyone the process. So like yeah, back then you couldn't really get the information from the top producers, but these days you can. So yeah, I guess when people are looking at it and they're like, okay, am I gonna watch this guy's videos who I don't really know his background, or am I gonna watch this guy's videos who's got the
Yeah.
placement with Drake and he's been nominated for a Grammy? Like,
Hmm.
yeah, you'd think you'd go more for that guy because you know he's experienced.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I think like there's always a way to make it like to make it credible. But yeah, I think you're right. You need to have like some kind you just need to be active in the field, whether it's at high levels like Drake and stuff like that, or whether it's just, independent artists. As long as you're in the field experiencing working with artists and you know for certain what's going on, and like
Yeah.
um yeah, then it's calm. But another thing is like I think it's the thing that's lacking in music production, like in terms of content, is that the to make advice for making a living is so like hit and miss, because we do have to please the algorithm. But it's like they might see one
Hmm.
video and they're like, yeah, start a sample pack business, then they're like sell type beats, and then there's like there might be another one saying do freelance work, do work for hire. There's like all these different ways to do it. Um
Yeah.
and it's just I think it can be overwhelming. I think I'd be quite overwhelmed if I was starting up right now. Um but maybe just as a bit of advice, I'd just say like there's a few things that take a while to build up, and then there's like a few things that you can do like quite soon in your music production career. If you're good at it, basically, if you've got your skill level up. And yeah, long term is like kit selling. Long term is like type beat selling. That takes a while to build up. Um, Short term is like work for hire stuff where you can just manually do your outreach, reach out to people, go through the process, build a relationship, and then pitch the idea of working with them on a project 1-to-1. And that stuff can be faster and pay off a bit quicker. Yeah, I think that we've gone off on a tangent, haven't we? With this answer, should be a short answer.
Well, there's so many ways to do it, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, if you had to give like a yes or no answer, are you satisfied with the content or not?
50-50 at the minute. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tricky.
It's
just
proper answer,
because
but I'm
like
gonna go with the same.
yeah, just because it's just hard to say yes or no in it, just because there's so many different styles of content out there.
It's not that simple.
Some people are pushing good
Mhm.
stuff, some people are pushing stuff for other reasons, and it's just hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do think the good stuff is there if you're willing to find it.
Yeah,
Like,
for
there's
sure.
so much out there. There's definitely some good information out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on because I know we're running out of time.
Yeah,
got-
1 or 2 more in.
Do you think making it to the top as a producer is hard? We'll just say yeah. Of course it is. Oh, let's go. This might be an interesting one. How to correctly drop first album? So yeah, what would be the process of dropping an album? I just don't know if he's an artist or a producer.
Yeah.
But let's say for any album, like we spoke about this before, but I feel like albums just aren't as important these days, especially for upcoming artists. I always try and steer people away from making albums in the beginning. And like I dropped an album recently, obviously with Gio, and I would have rather done it a different way. The plan, like when we did that, we were planning on just dropping like a small EP just to have a little something out there. But we had so many songs that we're working on, we thought, fuck it, we'll just put everything into one project. But what I learned from that is it's really hard to promote an album consistently. I feel like if you let's say you've got like 15 songs in an album, even 10, if you like focus all your energy into dropping just that album and getting everyone to listen to those 10 songs at once, it's going to be really hard to do that compared to dropping a single like every month. For example, let's say you dropped a single a month for 10 months, you could still put them together as an album at the end, but it just means that each month you've been able to promote something else, whereas the album you can start promoting that a bit before the launch. Maybe you drop a couple tracks like leading up to the launch, but then you go through like a month of like album promotion and then everything just kind of dies off. It's like doing a kit launch where you have all this hype at the launch and then it just tailors off. Whereas if you spread it across the year, then it's like, okay, track 1, let's drop this at the end of the month. We'll start pushing TikToks all for this track and then build up a bit of hype, drop that track, boom, straight away, next track, TikTok, like keep on pushing like little teasers out, and then just continuously do that until the end of the year, or depending on how many tracks you've got. I feel like you can get way more out of that compared to just dropping a project like as one thing, because like I said, you only get that sort of one chance to promote it then, rather than promoting yourself throughout the whole year. So I'd say if you're gonna do an album, if you really want to do an album, then just put a lot more emphasis on the individual songs first. Don't just drop like 1 or 2 songs and then drop an album. Just really like focus on putting the teasers out there to see what response you're getting from people. It doesn't even have to be like one song you're promoting as well. You could be like, all right, I'm going to put teasers out for like 3 different tracks, but every single day I'm going to put like a new teaser out, whether it's just and when I say teaser, I mean maybe like a segment of the verse, maybe a hook, whichever part, play around with different parts, but keep pushing those out and then look back at your analytics after like a month and see, okay, right, this song was getting the most engagement because all of the TikToks seem to get like more views compared to the others. So then you might be like, that's the song that I need to focus on. So then you might do a video to that song or release that before the others. But you don't know until you put the teasers out there and get the information back, do you? So yeah, I'd say just focus on the individual tracks, save the album for later on, and keep pushing get feedback from your audience essentially.
Yeah, that sounds good, man. Sounds like that. Yeah, I think like just having that cycle is the most important thing, isn't it? It's like have a song ready, or like a few songs ready. You have like phases, don't you? You have getting the song done, then you have the phase of pre-marketing, so teasing it, release the song, maybe a week or two of post production. That's normally like a month, like you said, a month's worth of work for one song.
Mm-hmm.
And a month goes quickly when you do when you
Yeah.
think of it that way. You get the song
Yeah, it
done,
does.
then you've got a week of promotions. You got to get all the content ready, release the song, some kind of incentive for the song release, post promotion, and then like you say, rinse and repeat. Keep the ball moving, because as soon as, like you say, as soon as you get one that does do maybe a bit better than the other ones, then that's when you need that momentum. And then as long as you've got those songs in the bank, then you're good to go for the rest of the year. One song a month. Keep pushing them, making sure they're good songs. And then, like I say, dropping an album to begin with, like that, you've just given yourself, let's say it's a 12-song album. You've got a whole year where you can't promote anything. Then you've spent ages working on this one album to drop it, and people only listen to it, taking maybe half of the album, might not even listen to the whole album, for a month or two, let's say, and it's gone. It's dust at that point.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think
because people might say, oh, well, if I drop an album, I can still promote the tracks after. But my argument to that would be, you've lost that first chance of building hype around the album. So if you just put out the album, then start promoting the songs, like, you can do that, but you're missing that hype element of, okay, you're putting out all these teasers, building up this sort of hype, and then you release the project at the end. So I feel like that can work a lot better.
Definitely. And you just got to think about what your attention span is like when something's coming out and when something isn't. Like, let's say let's say you like following producer content, and you like stocking up on kits and buying kits. Say like Jay drops a new kit, you're only going to be aware of that kit and like be excited about that kit within the times, about a month time span, 2 weeks build up of the hype, and then it releases. You're like, oh, where's this kit? I want to see this kit, see what the sounds are. Let me get the kit. But like, let's say Jay drops the kit without really telling anyone, and then throughout the whole year he's just promoted this one kit. Over time you're like, oh man, he's still talking about the same kit, So it has to be fresh stuff, Same for any niche. I think you got to have that kind of, have stuff coming out, coming out regularly. So yeah.
Because one thing I hear artists say as well is, if we're telling people to drop most of the tracks before the album comes out, a lot of people are saying, I don't want to do that because then everyone's heard the songs before my album comes out. But the reality is they haven't. Like I said, attention span's so short, they're just scrolling and scrolling. And let's say you're getting like 500 to 1,000 views per video. That's not many people, really. Like, how many people do you want to listen to your album? So you think that everyone's heard all the songs, but it's a small amount of people that have actually heard the songs, especially hearing every single one and remembering every single one. So by the time the album comes out, like, they won't even recognize most of the songs on there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just the reality. Unless you're someone like a Drake or Kendrick, like, then you've got then you can do what you want. You can drop projects, but you shouldn't look at those people and be like, oh, I'm going to use their strategy, because they've already come up through the ranks and done all the groundwork. So it's just way different.
Yeah, exactly. And like I say, they're not, even if you think, oh, I don't want them to hear the songs, like, they're not hearing the song, they're hearing like 10 seconds of the song, 20 seconds. And then through that's like the song's selling itself at that point. And you're like, they're just asking for the full song. Like, when's it dropping? And then, so you're just building hype around the song. You're not, it's not like you're leaking your own music. So it's just simple promotion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Man, should we, I think we should wrap at this point.
Yeah. Well, let's do this last one. We'll try and answer it quickly, but I'll let you answer it. It says, tell us what's the difficulties you faced in your career. Maybe you could just pick one difficulty that you faced. Yeah. I'll go with one as well.
I'd say like once it got good, keeping it there is probably like a big difficulty. Because there's like a big boom of hype and got lots of opportunities, 30-year sessions and people wanting to work and sponsors and stuff working. But then I think once you've gone through that phase, and you get used to that process of like people reaching out and the excitement kind of wears off, then it is kind of difficult to maintain it. So yeah, that's a difficulty. Best advice would be just to keep a clear vision of what you want to do, like where you actually wanted to go with this in the first place. because that stuff can really dilute it. You know, like
Yeah.
sponsors start flying in, then you're like, oh, I'm making money like from this. Let me just lean into this, and that's not really what's making you happy. By the end of it, you're sick of, you get tired of promoting stuff. You get tired of doing X, Y, and Z. Just keep that clear goal in mind. That's probably the difficult thing. How about you, Jay?
To be honest, I was thinking something similar. I was thinking it's sort of hard to like maintain the same level of everything, same level of consistency, motivation, and keeping your head screwed on as well, because like you said, you'll go through a period where, I don't know, for a few months, like all your videos are banging, you're getting like a 1 out of 10, everyone's talking about it, and you go through this like hype phase, and then you go through periods where every video will be going like 10 out of 10, and then you're thinking, oh man, my YouTube channel's going to shit, like everything's going wrong, like what's happening? And because you're running your own business, then there's no guarantees about what you're going to get. So I think it's down to, I don't know, it's hard to do, but you sort of need to maintain like a level head throughout. You can't celebrate the wins too much, because then you're going to crash when you get the lows, but you also want to celebrate them a bit. It's like seeing like negative and positive comments. Like if you let the positive comments gas you up too much, you're going to let the negative comments fuck you up too much. Whereas if you just kind of take them in gently, then maybe the negative ones won't affect you as much. It's like
for sure
weird to explain, but just not letting the wins get to your head too much, because then you're going to let the lows like really fuck you up. So if you can just kind of like stay tunnel visioned and just like focusing on what you're doing and just making sure that you're actually consistent, whether you're getting the wins or the losses, then because we've been doing it for a few years now, we can like look back and see like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going through like a bit of a shit time now, but we also went through a bit of a shit time a couple of years ago, and it didn't last as long as we thought it did. After a few months, we went through a period of some wins again. So just understanding that it's going to be like that, isn't it? It's not just going to be like straight to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like best thing, and I think the only way you truly get used to that is just through going through it. So key thing just to keep going. That's literally the key thing. Just keep going.
Cool, man. But yeah, we'll wrap up there then. But hopefully everyone found that helpful. We should have Ocean back next week as well. He's on a disco biscuit somewhere in Amsterdam.
Alright, guys.
Appreciate you all for watching.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.